Samia is losing it. She's losing control because she's facing the youth's power like never before. Not only in Tanzania, but I've seen only in Kenya, or again in Kenya. When you go on social media, you will see Kenyans trying to champion for freedom of those who are held up, like Nifa, for example. Now, they thought that the youths were too scared to rise. They thought East Africa was too divided to unite. But right now, what we are seeing, or what is happening in Tanzania and Kenya, is rewriting history. And the woman on top, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, is realizing that control built on silence never lasts. As we know, there's a lot of videos have emerged of the bodies of people in Tanzania. If you haven't seen some, I want you to go on Instagram. I want you to go on this social media. Go and search Mange Kimambi. You will look at you will see the videos out there. Okay? So today, family, let me talk about something. Let me talk about something the mainstream media doesn't want to talk. For example, I'm so much ashamed of the mainstream media of Tanzania, not even mainstream media, all the media houses in Tanzania. They don't talk a damn about everything. This is suppression of media. I'm not saying that they don't want, maybe they want to talk, but the government have done what? They have silenced them. Okay? Now, when you see on social media, you'll see freedom for the youth. People are speaking. Kenyans are speaking. Ugandans are speaking. Freedom to speak. We are calling for that. Freedom to demand a better tomorrow.
Imagine being a 26-year-old lady. You're an entrepreneur. You're at your prime. You're selling cosmetics. You're doing well. And then your country is holding elections. Get this. Your president is a woman. So you expect that this woman has a lot of compassion. But your country is holding elections. And then things are not going the way the people are liking because your president has locked up opponents. They have done everything. And your president ends up saying that now she has won by 100%. Like, who gets 100% votes? Anywho, your president makes a comment and somebody takes the comment and turns it into a tune, like remix, the way people remix these tunes. And you just take the remix tune and you decide to dance to that remix tune. Then because of this dance that you did, a TikTok challenge dance, your country comes and arrests you. And get this, now they're charging you for treason. And by the way, in this country, when you're charged for treason, the penalty is death. You and a couple of people who just participated either in a challenge or some social media dance are now being charged for treason. Guys, can you believe this stuff? I don't know when we will wake up and realize that governments are the biggest scam, the biggest Ponzi schemes that ever existed. Who asked governments to come and govern us? Who told a bunch of old-ass people to come and start governing and ruling our lives for us? But if you're asking, this happened in Tanzania to this lady here called Nifa. If you're seeing a video somewhere here, all she did was participate in a challenge, a dance challenge, a TikTok dance challenge. And now she's been arrested alongside other young people who either participated in social media or said something or they went to protesting. Guys, we must spread this awareness wide. Governments are the biggest Ponzi schemes that ever existed because, get this, first of all, it's our money that we work, we give this government so that they can make our lives better. But somebody becomes power hungry and wants to reign supreme, like this president here for Tanzania. Tanzanians, we are with you. You're our neighbors, we are with you, and we empathize, we sympathize. But you must stay strong. You must protest. You must, don't keep quiet. Because see what happened in New York? People rose up and people will keep rising up. But you must show up. Is it going to be difficult? Yes. But eventually you're going to be free of such tyranny. We must rise up because this year is so sad. A 26-year-old lady, just do it like, this is craziness. This is madness. People, we must wake up and realize that the fight we have is against these tyrannical governments run by cooperatives. These are not even governments. These are just things that are bought by corporations and hungry, just greedy, fucked up people running us to the ground and killing us, claiming to be our government. We must all rise up. We must rise up. Tanzanians, we are with you, and let us all help to free this lady. She's called Nifa. Let's all free Nifa from Tanzania and all other people who have been incarcerated by this tyrannical Tanzanian government.
My dear Cameroonians, my dear Africans, whenever you see this country located in West Africa called Kenya, when you ever see any Kenyan citizen, particularly their youth, please respect them. These are great people. The youth of Kenya that are called Gen Z, they hold their government responsible. They straighten their government to work according to the Kenyan law. And that is not enough. You know what is happening in Tanzania right now? There is a lot of demonstration in Tanzania. The Tanzanians are fighting their government because of corruption, embezzlement, bad government for quite a long time. So the Kenyans youth call themselves Gen Z. They travel from Kenya through the border to Tanzania, and they were intercepted by the Tanzanian security guard at the border, and there were a lot of chaos at the border between the Kenyans youth and the Tanzania security guard, only to go into Tanzania and help the Tanzanian citizen to straighten their government. My dear Africans, these are the type of youth we need in Africa. You see what is happening in my country right now? My country is facing a lot of serious political issue right now because of the presidential election that is going on right now in Cameroon. You see the fraud, the government stole the election from the candidate that the youth volunteer go in massively to vote, and the candidate won the election, but the government stole the election only to continue staying in power. Over 43 years a president is in power. Can you believe that? And they keep on remaining in power only to die there. And you expect Cameroonians to sit down and watch, keep on watching it? My dear Africans, whenever you are, you should know that the situation in Africa is lying right now in our hands. We the youth, we need to get up. We need to remove ourselves from this slavery.
We all need a sprinkle of the Kenyan mindset in our lives. We all need Kenyan friends that can speak wisdom into our lives. So much such that we will know what to do and how to do what to do, especially in fighting bad governance. Look at what is happening in Tanzania. Kenyans need not be called. Kenyans were not called. They didn't wait for Tanzania to say, my Kenyans, please come and help. They have been having all this back and forth with Tanzanians that you have to stand up for yourselves. Now Tanzanians stand up for themselves and Kenyans say, we see you, we appreciate that, and we are coming to give you our physical, moral, spiritual, everything support. Kenyans turned up for Tanzanians. That is something which we have to appreciate on a daily basis. We all need neighbors like Kenyans. Like it's amazing seeing how Kenyans handle things the way they do. It is iconic how they just, there's this thing about the unity within them and their urge to wanting to fix this shithole continent. Thank you, Kenyans, for what you're doing. We see you. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. We need that energy. If we all had that energy, that fighting spirit that Kenyans have, especially these their Gen Zs, I don't think we should be having any problems anymore on the continent. But then again, big ups to each and every one of you. Tanzania, we see you. Our hearts are with you. Kenyans, thank you for a job well done and a job that you are still doing. We see each and every one of you around the world. Much love.
Okay, and this what we are seeing, it is just the beginning of the storm. The Tanzanian government under Samia Suluhu just went through one of the most controversial elections that passed. There are reports of irregularities, protest, arrest, tear gas, internet shutdown, and many more. But beyond the political headline, something spiritual is happening. And this spiritual is a generation that was told to stay quiet are now roaring. The Gen Z are not staying quiet. University students are not staying quiet. Boda riders, artists, journalists, but I've seen artists of Tanzania are quiet. But from other countries, they are not quiet. They have said it all. And when you look across the border into Kenya, you see the same. Kenya, we are having the same energy or better energy than everyone. Because young people are tired of leaders who use peace as a weapon to silence truth. Young people are tired of government pretending to listen while secretly fearing the way people are being treated. We are tired. And right now, two energies. Kenya, fearless youth, I've seen them on social media. They are calling out. They are awakening. They are, what we are doing as Kenyans and Tanzania, calling out the atrocity that's happening in Tanzania, it is something magical. It is history unfolding itself. Okay? They have tried to silence us. There's arrest left, right, and center. For years, Tanzanian activists who dares to speak were labeled troublemakers. Even right now, you can see they are being arrested. Just today, around 20 opposition members have been arrested. Okay? Some are detained, some are disappeared, and others are forced into exile. But right now, the same voices that Samia's system tried to mute, it is the one that is hunting her. It is hunting her to the core. Okay? Being amplified by brothers and sisters across the border, across Kenya, Kenyans are doing it. Kenyans are reposting Tanzanians' protest. Tanzanians youth are learning from Kenyans what happened in hashtag reject financial bill. Something made me smile back then. When Tanzania was protesting, they were carrying the image of Raila Amolo Odinga, the late Raila Amolo Odinga, to showcase how what they were fighting for. Because Raila lived fighting for democracy, fighting for freedom and everything. Okay? Samia Suluhu came to power as Tanzania's first female president, and people celebrated it. Millions celebrated, especially women. But right now, you have seen women are being unalived in the streets. Okay? This power is a strange thing. Power has changed mama. Once you test that control, you either use it to serve the people like Magufuli did, or to suppress the people. And mama have decided to choose the oppression side. Instead of bridging generation, her government has been accused of widening gap, especially between the state and the youth. And here's the irony. The more her administration tries to show strength, the more it exposes weakness, because she said herself that if you raise your voice to the government, you are trying to fight the government. And when you try to fight the government, you will end up knowing who has strength. And of course, the government has strength. Okay? Because the strength isn't in silencing your people. What mama is doing, she is silencing the people instead of listening them. Okay? But I'm happy because East Africa is waking up. Kenyans are now openly supporting Tanzanians youth online. We have seen hashtag like Free Tanzanians Youth, Free NIFA, hashtag East African United. Okay? And when Kenyans unite behind a cause, the world pays attention. Remember when Kenyans youth shook the world during the anti-financial bill? They don't wait for politicians. Kenyans did not wait for permission. They mobilized themselves. And now the same fire has crossed the border, and Tanzanians youths are catching up. Okay? That's the power of connection. That is the rebirth of East African community, East African consciousness. Because the truth is, our liberations will never be achieved in isolation. When Kenya rises, Tanzania rises, or Tanzania listens. When Tanzania rises, Uganda trembles. And when all East African community or East Africa countries rises, the world take notice. And that's why they fear our unity. Why do you think most of African government, not just in Tanzania, fear youth movement? Because unity breaks control. And the system knows, once the youths unite across borders, you can't control them with lies anymore. You can't control them with rifles anymore. Because you can't divide youths with tribe. You cannot divide or silence youths with religion. You cannot distract youths with fake promise and the promises of peace. And that is what Samia's government fears right now. Not riot, not violence. No, they fear consciousness. Because when the youth of Tanzania realize that their brothers and sisters in Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda face the same issue, like unemployment, police brutality, lack of representation, they realize something, that the enemy is not each other. The enemy is them. The enemy is the system that benefits from the division of the youth. But I'm happy we are having new East Africa voices, new awakening. Listen carefully here. The youth of East Africa are rewriting the script, and for decades, our region has been portrayed as passive, calm, peaceful, obedient. But beneath that peace has been pain. Pain of what? Unemployment, corruption, and a generation of youths being told that to wait for their turn. That turn never came. The turn are never coming. So now, we are talking as youths. We are talking. And when Tanzanians youth stood up this time, Kenya didn't mock them. No. I know we are having some online fights here and there, but that does not mean that we are not in the same page. Okay? That's the beginning of new East African consciousness. Not built, not by president or politician, but by the people. And we are one people. We are one region. We are one destiny. Our future will not be silenced. And right now, Samia faces a crossroad. Okay? She can either become a leader to reform who listens to the people, or a symbol of fear who lost control by trying too hard to keep it. Because history teaches us when youth rise, no system can contain them anymore forever. Ask Sudan, ask Nigeria, ask Senegal. When people unite beyond borders, oppression loses its oxygen. So it's a Samia's dilemma. Make no mistake, the cracks are already visible. No, make no mistake. Reports is showing that growing tension within her administration, advisors divided, loyalties uneasy. Because when the streets start to move faster than the government, that's when power begins to slip. And that's exactly what we are seeing right now in Tanzania. You know, the system has failed its children. And for years, the government of East Africa has spoken of development, Vision 2030, and economical growth. But what's the use of highway if the people are walking on them hungry? What is the use of skyscrapers if the youths can't afford rent inside their small houses? In Tanzania, unemployment among the youths has silently climbed beyond 22%. In Kenya, it is more than 30%. And that's not just a statistic. That is an entire generation on pause. So when the youths try to speak, we are being called ungrateful. When we try to organize, we are being called rebels. When we try to protest, we are being called enemies of the progress. They are shooting in the air, they are shooting in the heads, and But how can a nation progress when its youths are stuck surviving instead of thriving? How? In mid-2025, protests began in Dar es Salaam, Arusha, Dodoma. Students are jobless, were graduates, vendors, young mothers. Their message was so simple. We want to live, we want to work, we want freedom. And the police responded with force. But this time, something different happened. The youths filmed everything. Videos are flooding on TikTok there, Instagram, on X. There are some videos within hours, Kenyans starting sharing them. It is showing solidarity, what's happening. Hashtag free Tanzanians youth. Stand with TZ. And the algorithm could not oppress it. The algorithm could not suppress it because it's a message. This message was too raw, too real. And suddenly, the Tanzanian struggle became an Eastern African story. Right now, everyone is talking about Tanzania. That's why. That's what I'm saying. Samia is losing. He's losing because I have seen Kenyans are joining the call on social media. I've seen Kenyans trying to call out too. Kenyans saw themselves in those Tanzanians' faces. They are seeing what's happening in Tanzania, and we are sympathizing, and we are not moving on. We are sympathizing but not moving on. We are calling for change. We are calling for change. So instead of staying quiet, I've seen digital creators, content creators are posting, and that's what we want. We want the unity of Africa, of East Africa. This is our voices that you cannot ignore. Okay? Voices that you cannot ignore. And this regime fears this. Government can't handle opposition parties, or a government can handle opposition parties, but they cannot handle youths. They can't. Okay? They can't. Let's see what this is going to unfold. Let's continue posting. Let's continue talking about what's happening until justice is served to people of Tanzania. Till next episode, peace out.